guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, can I go on an email that was sent from a subscriber? This is from a guy, he's 27 years old, and up until recently, he thought he had a good marriage to a really good girl. Unfortunately, she went to a bachelorette party, and that changed everything, and now he's meeting with his lawyer, and he's kicking her to the curb. You're going to see, guys, that his wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, comes from a really screwed-up family. And even though she's really tried to be different from them, and he's been patient with her, clearly, you're going to see, has had an impact on her, particularly her sister. Her sister, who is absolute, well, I got to watch what I say here, but not very good role model, someone to be with. And as it turns out, they've been trying for like 6 months or so for her to get pregnant. And I'm not going to say they get pregnant, she gets pregnant. I had to mention that. Well, as it turns out, the bachelorette party, he found out a lot of things that went on, and she was completely lying to him. And guess what? She's magically pregnant. What a miracle. Anyhow, she's toast. And that'll be a very good one to go over here, guys, making the point that before you get involved with a girl, and especially marry her, you need to look at her family. And if her family has nothing but problems, I'm talking absolutely dysfunctional, lots of major things, you better think twice about getting involved with her, because that is going to affect her. No matter how hard she tries to better herself, not be like them, as long as they're in her life, they're going to mess her up one way or another. It's just, how it operates, as well as a whole bunch of other things. And, also, if you get together with a gal who mentions that she's had some bad things happen in her past, but won't tell you, again, more signs to get out of there. And this guy, sadly, is learning the hard way. But, he's still young and he'll be okay. But he's sharing his story as a warning, but also he's looking for a little help. So it starts off, says here, hello, SSM. I've got this unbelievable situation with my pregnant wife, and although I've already taken action, I'd still be curious to hear your views on the situation. Well, brother, it's your lucky day, and you're not going to hear from just me, you're going to hear from tens of thousands of other dudes around the world. My wife, who we will call Rachel, is 24, and I'm Dave, 27. We've been together for several years now, and for the most part, have been happily married. In fact, for the past 6 months, we've been trying to start a family. Okay, 6 months of hooking up, and still she's not pregnant? Okay, that's going to come back later in this story here. And by the way, if she's 24, I'm assuming you maybe got married. You didn't say how long you've been married, maybe 4 years, 3 years, I don't know. Everything was perfect. Guys, so many guys say that. We had just bought our first house, enjoyed movie night every Friday, and in the bedroom, things were great. Sadly, it seems like that's all over now that I discovered the truth about what went on at her sister's bachelorette party. This is why bachelorette parties are a terrible idea. The whole girls' weekend, girls' getaway and all that. A married woman should not be acting like a single woman, period. Well, for context here, Rachel comes from a highly dysfunctional family. Although I won't go into too many details since it's all very personal, I will volunteer that her father has been in and out of prison her entire life. Now, is that her fault? No. But that is going to be the family you're marrying into. And it's going to affect your kids and all that. Not good. Her mother suffers from a substance abuse problem, and her older sister exposed her to some very traumatizing thing when they were kids. More on to that in a moment. Bro, then why'd you marry her? All the girls out there, she could have got ones that didn't come from a family like this. Let me guess, you felt bad for her. She was good to you, and maybe she was, but it's not worth it. I think if you found my channel years ago, about the time before you got married to her, would have changed things. Well, until she found her faith, she was lost. You see, when Rachel was 20 years old, she found her salvation in the Catholic Church when she was about 20 years old after a series of painful events that she still won't talk to me about. She said she will tell me when she is ready, and I respect that. Bro, I'm assuming she said that before you got married, and you should have never married her. If she's got some serious skeletons in her closet or bad things happen, even though, let's just be, for argument's sake, say those painful things that happened weren't her fault, you as a future husband have a right to know these things, because these things are going to come back into play later on in life. And we don't know what these things are, but still, you need to know that. And there's a reason she went to God at 20 years old. Anyway, the church offered her a community, guidance, and helped her secure a scholarship to begin a nursing degree. Oh, God. At FIU. He says, I know there are stereotypes around that, but trust me, Rachel isn't like that. She's deeply religious. Brother, oh, brother. I've known religious girls in my life. Or girls that went to church all the time. And let me tell you, they were some of the freakiest, wildest girls ever. But then again, to be fair, they were usually going because their families pushed them into it. But sounds like Rachel's going because she wants to. But regardless, I know how this story goes, so, you know. As for her sister, we will call her Jessica. That's a perfect name for the story. She chose an entirely different path. She is so toxic that I'm honestly afraid to invite her to family gatherings because there's no telling what kind of criminal scumbag boyfriend she'll bring into our house. Well, then say you're not bringing these scumbags into our house. It's bad like she dates the type of street rats who carry illegal firearms and substances on their person. Then they're not welcome in your house. And on one occasion, our neighbors called the police to intervene when one of her boyfriends started shouting profanities at the neighborhood kids for riding their bikes in our driveway. That situation is embarrassing and unacceptable. You're damn right it's unacceptable. But that is your house, you're the man, and you tell your fucking trashy sister, at least you should have, get these fucking scumbags out of here. You guys gotta stand your ground. I should also point out that we have a slight cultural and linguistic barrier, as her parents were originally from Mexico, and my family has European heritage. Okay, let's cut the crap here. In other words, you're white and she's brown. Okay, so what? Well, the problem is there are people that will have a problem with that you're about to see. If I didn't know any better, her sister's boyfriends are not fans of this arrangement. Okay, they don't like white people. On a few occasions, they got into my personal space and threatened me for stealing their women. Did these threats happen on your property? I'm not going to lie, SSM, I'm a pretty civilized guy, so I almost shit my pants since these guys are not joking around. One guy told me outright that he was gang affiliated and I better watch my back. Well, brother, when I'm connecting the dots, you're from Florida, and you know darn well you can arm yourself. And you have security and all that. But you can't show weakness. Another issue might be that Rachel is an attractive sister. Rachel is the attractive sister, as Jessica hasn't exactly taken care of herself and has a different father, so perhaps they are jealous. So I think you see where this is going. Her sister's a big problem for our marriage. Well, then, again, why you got with her, I don't know. But still, you should have drawn some boundaries. If this Jessica, her sister, is such a problem, and she's bringing scumbags to your house, and she's a bad influence, then that's the point where you're laying down the law with your wife, saying, look, this is not going to be our marriage. This is not going to be our family, having her coming around here and being a bad influence. A lot of guys can't do that. Men that love their wives and men that are in love with their wives are two different types of relationships. That's why you love your wife. You don't be in love with her. Because when you're in love with her, guys on the balls will stand up for themselves, lay down the law, establish boundaries like they should. As you're going to see. I don't want to sound cruel, but since I sympathize with her difficult upbringing, still this has been a reoccurring theme in our lives. Rachel once told me rather bluntly that throughout high school, there were so many different men coming in and out of their shared bedroom that they practically need a revolving door. So I'm assuming the revolving door was for the guys going to see her piece of crap sister Jessica, not Rachel, your wife. I'm hoping. That's what I'm getting from this. That's what you're trying to say. But remember, your knowledge of your wife's background is based on what your wife has told you, not what's... I got to say, given how I know the story goes. She got way more graphic about things her sister did with those visitors in indirect view of her, but I'll save you the nausea and keep the details for another time. Suffice to say, the two sisters couldn't be more different, but regardless, they have an intense bond and support each other no matter what, and here is where I ran into trouble. Well, there you go. That's why she's in your life, but you still have to, you should come first before her sister Jessica, period. Well, Jessica got engaged to one of her many suitors not too long ago, and along with that, the Bachelorette party ensued. I protested because I knew in that environment, with her sister's degenerate friends, something bad might happen. Well, I'm glad you protested, but unfortunately, you didn't go anywhere. Because your wife knows she can get away with it. Rachel told me not to worry. saying that they were going to have dinner at Applebee's, which is their favorite restaurant, and where they often meet up, and then catch a special Latin-themed midnight movie marathon that ran from 12 midnight to 6 o'clock in the morning. Get the fuck out of here. Do you really think her SLUTTY sister with a revolving door in high school, amongst many other things right now, is going to spend her bachelorette party at Applebee's? I got nothing against Applebee's, but good burgers. At least I've had a few good burgers there. But really, no. And then a Latin-themed movie marathon? All that sounded innocent enough to me. Bro, smack, come on here, common sense. Now, my wife had never lied to me before, so imagine my surprise when I decided to snoop through her Facebook messages. At SSM, they had an entirely different itinerary for the evening. Did you say she never lied to you before? Is this going back to the, she found God at 20 and is religious? Come on, bro. I know you're going through a hard time, but I got to point this out. You know I'm not going to hold back when I call BS. Not you, but from her. The message from her sister included an attachment with details about times, places, and experiences that they'd have, along with graphic imagery and vulgar language that was hard to believe. Here's how the night really went, and this is a toned-down version for you two. Apparently from 7 p.m., opening drinks and a VIP yacht party. VIP yacht party? What makes them VIP? Because they're young and they got tits and ass? From 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., evening in Miami, free bottles. They're not far away from me. Free bottles, huh? Nothing's for free. And then from 3 o'clock in the morning on, a rave, location undisclosed. Oh, great. Because nothing bad ever happens at raves after 3 o'clock in the morning. Your wife was lying to you, and this isn't probably the first time she's lied to you, man. I'm telling you now. There was also a disclaimer stating that a hotel room was available to freshen up between venues. Freshen up, we know what that means. Even more concerning was the fine print note that said that all the girls need to coordinate times if they need the room for other activities. Other activities, I guess that means like when they want to take a break and get some Applebee's takeout, before they're going into the next thing. Activities, huh? And then, just as if my life couldn't get worse, there was another group chat called Aftermath, and it contained some absolutely shocking pictures. We're talking full unprotected intercourse with very muscular-looking men and so on. Strippers. And although I didn't see my wife participating in that part of the party, she was certainly in the background for some of those pictures. Drinking from an appropriate shaped cup. Oh, she's drinking from a dick-shaped cup, huh? When you add those details to the fact that she came home completely intoxicated the next morning and claimed she didn't remember anything, my reaction probably won't surprise you very much. I'd be pissed too. Absolutely. Especially after you found out all this stuff that was going on. But were you really that surprised, given how her sister Jessica behaves and all her scumbag friends, and knowing what you know watching this channel? But you believed your wife, Rachel, because you wanted to believe she was the good girl, in spite of her fucked up family, that you thought she was. She's not. We had already been fighting about that part for weeks now before I saw the evidence. I'd pressure her to tell me what really happened, and she'd get very defensive, shut down, and then disappear out back on some call with her sister. Since they were speaking in Spanish, I couldn't understand a word. Yeah, because her sister's telling her how to handle you. So when I confronted her about the outrageous behavior at the party and the fact that she lied to me, she burst out crying, of course, and begged for my forgiveness for the dishonesty, promising that she hated every moment of the party and the other girls forced her to drink so much. Oh, for goodness sake. Have some freaking self-respect for herself and you, and just admitted that she did what she wanted. No, she's blaming all that. You telling me a 24-year-old married woman can't control herself, that they forced her to drink and all that? What a load of crap. She's lying, dude, and worse yet, she's blaming other people. And now, obviously, is going to blame her behavior on the alcohol. Oldest thing in the book. I still want to believe that she didn't do anything. Smack, dude, we are beyond that at this point. She isn't like that. She isn't like that. She was very inexperienced and religious when I met her, and she made me wait almost a year. Maybe she made you wait a year because before she found God at 20 years old for some stability in her life, and that's great and all, seriously, but, that maybe she was a lot like Jessica when she was younger, but she didn't tell you. You got to think about this, man. And they often break the rules for the alphas, as in they hook up on the first date, and they make the rules, no offense for the betas, and they make them wait a year. I could be wrong, but I'm saying what this sounds like. Moreover, Rachel only had one boyfriend before me, an older brother of one of her sister's friends, and when they made love, it was protected. I don't think they were making love, dude. I think they were doing something else. And it starts with the F and F. At first, I wanted to forgive her. She was also doing some nice things for me, like cooking for me for the first time in our marriage, and starting to clean up. After a little more time, she found out that she was pregnant. Hang on, before the pregnancy thing. This is the first time in your marriage she's actually cooked for you? You say she's from a Mexican family. They usually know how to cook some pretty amazing dishes. She hasn't cooked for you? And now guess what? After 6 months of you trying to get her pregnant, because you said that earlier, magically connected back to the night of the Bachelorette party that she's pregnant? What do you think was happening? I'm sorry, man, but Rachel is not as wholesome and saved by the Lord as you want to think. Call me crazy, but after a party like that one, the timing is just a little too concerning. When I brought the party right back up, she was like, I told you if nothing happened, we can do a DNA test. A DNA test? Well, I lost it. I was like, why would we need a DNA test if you didn't cheat, you effing... And he says something pretty nasty to her. She thought I'd be happy about the news when she told me, since we've been trying for quite some time. But when I imagined it could be Diego or Jose's kid, something snapped in me. I let everything out, and between my tears, I called every name in the book. And I'm not proud of it, but if your girl went to a party like that, you might also lose it. I might lose it 25 years ago, but I certainly wouldn't lose it now. As hard as it is, man, you got to remain calm. And you yelling at her is all she needs to do is say how you are yelling at her and abusing her and all that. But yeah, this is a very bad situation, and as you can see, yeah, it's over. I don't trust her any further. I can throw her. Well, she went into a hysterical state. Shocker. At that point, she didn't even make sense. So I just packed one bag of stuff and left for my parents' house. Good idea, man. Very good idea. You need to get out of there. You got to think. Well, the next day, I hired a lawyer, and the papers will be sent soon. Holy crap. You're not messing around. Well, you know what, dude? It's... Even if, let's just say, even if, devil's advocate, the child she's carrying is yours. I don't think it is. No, I absolutely don't think that, but let's say it is. Even then, this is not working. Her family's garbage. Dad in and out of prison. Mom's substance abuse. Her sister is just an absolute piece of garbage. Horrible influence. Jessica and her are bosom buddies. You know what I mean? What else? All the low lies that her sister brings into your life. Showing no respect. She's a liar. I don't buy a lot of the stuff that she's saying about her past. Hiding things from you and all that. This is not going to work. You only been married a few years now. Cut your losses. Anyhow. He said I'm in a good place since I have a solid prenup. Hey, good for you. And we never combined finances since Rachel always wanted to be independent. As for the pregnancy, my lawyer just told me that if I suspect it wasn't mine, I should avoid contact with her and if pressed, say it's not mine. Since we're going to get the divorce done before the child is born. Based on what my lawyer has seen, 90% of the time, single moms don't have the resources to force the state's hand on these things. So long as I hadn't signed the birth certificate or shown any plausible involvement in the pregnancy at all, I'm okay. Dave. Well, Dave, crap, man. I'm sorry this is happening to you, but you know what? At least I'm trying to find the silver lining here. This is happening early on. You haven't been married that long. You said you got a prenup. I'm hoping you both did it right with the whole prenup thing. The only pain in the butt you have is the house. You bought the house together after you got married, so you're going to have to figure that out. I'm going to guess it's obviously been the last couple of years. You probably don't have a whole lot of equity in it. I mean, we can go round and round with the real estate shit, but the point is you'll figure it out. So cut your losses and move on. And like I said, even if the kid, let's just say the kid is yours, at some point along the lines, you find out the kid is yours, you do a test, who knows? Well, then you have an obligation to that kid. But it doesn't mean you got to be married to her. And by the way, I guarantee you she's going to try everything under the sun to get you to stay with her. And the crying, and the begging, and the pleading, and all that stuff like that, you know, she'll probably get her friends and sister and everybody else to bug you. If you made up your mind it's over with, be done with it and listen to your lawyer. But I do not believe for a second that Rachel has been all sugar and spice and everything nice the entire time. It doesn't add up, okay? And a lot of gals, you know, it's not her fault, that was in a family, that dad was in and out of prison, and mom's substance abuse and all that. It's not her fault, but it is her fault if she makes bad choices, particularly as an adult, and drags other good people like you down along with it. That is her fault. And she's been lying to you. There's a whole lot of other things going on here. Don't waste your time trying to figure that out. Just now, your mission is to get out of this as unscathed as possible. And in the future, when you're done, the divorce is done, and you're healing, don't jump back on the horse with other girls so quickly and feel like you got to have a woman in your life to be successful. If you're watching this channel, you know that's not the case, okay? Plenty of guys here will vouch for that, okay? You need to work on yourself. And in the future, when you are ready, because you're obviously a relationship guy, unless you completely do a 180 after this, in the future, stop with the damaged girls. No white knighting. If they got problems with their family, they got problems in their past, things they won't tell you, stuff like that, don't walk away, excuse me. Run like your rear end is on fire and it's melting your whole body. Get out of there. Don't do it, because otherwise this is what you're going to get. Let her deal with it. And I hope at this point that the child is not yours. I highly doubt that, since for 6 months you've been trying for a kid with her, nothing, and now just you connected back to the bachelor party night magically, or at least within 24 hours of that she gets pregnant. What does that say? And frankly, on delivery day, when she gives birth, and that child looks a lot more like, I don't know, what do you say, Jose and Diego? I don't know. Then there you go. So, man, best of luck. Handle it well. I think you're going to be okay. But you got things to learn from, and I hope you do. So, guys, please give this guy some advice. Give him anything you can say to help him out, encourage him. He definitely needs it. All right, guys, as ever today, be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this as well as him. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.